Hey, what's up, North County? Welcome to the Morning Brew, and we've got special guests today. We've got Chief Suttles, and we've got Sergeant Taylor in, and we're talking about National Night Out coming up here shortly here in Atascadero. You guys don't want to miss this. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks again. We appreciate your guys' service as well to the North County and Atascadero, and I'm sure your expansion goes further than that, so...
Well, thank you very much for having us, and thank you very much for having these awesome, comfortable chairs. This is great.
We never know who's going to be sitting in
They're
it.
not bad.
Yeah. Like I said, at the end you might be laying down, but it's okay. Just take a little siesta. So Chief, let's talk about you for a little bit. So you're newly chief there in Atascadero PD. Did you say 2.5 years?
Yeah, I've been here about 2.5 years. I started my career back in 2004 with the Glendale Police Department. I was there for about 18 years. Moved over to a small town called Bear Valley Springs, which is up near Tehachapi. And I spent about 2 years as their chief there. And then I got the opportunity to come here. Been here for about 2.5 years, and I love it.
Was your family in law enforcement? Is that how you got into that?
Nope. I don't know why, but it was one of those things that, as a young man, when I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years, and I knew that when I was in the Marine Corps that when I got out, I was going to be a police officer. It was just one of those things that, you hear it all the time when people say, look, it was just a calling, something I knew I was going to do. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, it took me a while to get hired. Especially back then, it was extremely hard to get on. So it took me a good 3 years of trying, and I finally got on, and I was about 30 years old, and I haven't looked back. I loved every minute of it.
Were you hitting? I mean, when you said it was hard to get on for 3 years, I mean, were you applying everywhere, or is that one specific area?
I was at first, I was being picky because I was like, well, hey, I know in my heart I felt I was a good candidate, so I'm like, well, I'll just go to where I want to go. But then when I wasn't getting hired. At the very end, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to try as hard as I can everywhere, and if someone picks me up, then I'm going to give them 100% of my effort. And Glendale Police Department, they picked me up. It was a great fit for me, and I spent 18 years there. And like I said, I haven't looked back. I loved it. I still love the job. I wish that, I wish I was 20 years younger. I wish I had a body of 20 years younger, so I could go back out there on patrol and keep working. It's an amazing job. Like I said, it's a calling.
Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I moved down to California in 1991 when I joined the military. That was when I was 18 years old. I thought I was going to go back to Oregon. That was my intent. But I met a girl, got married, and been down in California ever since.
Typical story.
Typical story, yeah.
Right.
I got 2 older boys in the military. Actually, one of them just got out. And yeah, it's a typical story, man. Your kids go away. They spread their wings, so to speak, and then they start their own lives somewhere, and if you don't lasso them back in, man, they'll stay where they land.
How has the transition been from Bear Valley to Atascadero?
It's been great, and the reason why I say that is because when you come from a larger agency and you go to a very, very small agency, that's kind of a culture shock too, and so I really was looking for something where I could feel more of a fit. For what it is I felt I still had to offer, in regards to, I still got some gas left in the tank, and I thought that I could use a department that had some more resources and some more challenges, challenges meaning, not quite as pristine and beautiful. I mean, Bear Valley Springs is an amazing place, but, you want to work at a place that has something going on, because you want, when you strive to do well, you want challenges, and that's what I was looking for, and I'm here and love it.
Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a great place to live, as Sergeant Taylor can contest for that. Atascadero is an amazing area here in the North County that we've been blessed to live in and grow up in.
Yep.
Right, John?
Yeah, we grew up together, went to high school together, junior high.
Yeah.
So we've been here a long time. We haven't left. So
right.
That tells you something.
Did you ever think, out of high school, graduating, you're like, I'm out here. I'm taking off.
Yeah, I did, and I never did. I left for a little bit, but and I think that gave me a better appreciation for this area. This is the best place in California, in my opinion, to live. The weather's great. Small town. We still know each other after 30-something years, and still can run into each other, and
all on good terms, though. Keep it that way.
100%.
Never been
Yeah.
in the back of your car.
No, you have not. No, you have not.
So, John, tell me about growing up in Atascadero. Now you are protecting Atascadero. Tell me how that feels for you.
Yeah, so when I got my career started in law enforcement, I started at Morro Bay PD. And then through some economic tough times that the city was facing, layoffs were looming. So I put in my app here, and I didn't know how it would be. Like, would I keep running into people I went to high school with? Am I going to be arresting people that I went to high school with? And I didn't know how that dynamic was going to play out. Or
How many years out of high school was that you came to Atascadero?
it was a while. Yeah, I kind of was like the chief. I started when I was 30, so that's what 9-10 years later from high school.
Okay. And so then you came to Atascadero.
Yep, came here in 2005, and it is awesome to know that I grew up here, and being able to kind of give back to the city that helped raise me and made me the person I am today. So I do enjoy that.
How has the department changed in the last, say, 20 years that you've been with the Atascadero PD? Has it changed?
Well, we're getting a new building or new remodel. So
From where you're at now?
yeah, they're remodeling our current building. So that's a big change. Technology's changed. The way we police now has changed. So there's been a lot of changes. I remember starting out hearing veteran officers tell me, "Yeah, man, it used the good old days, and but that's the evolution of law enforcement, and the pendulum has shifted, and it'll shift another way another time, and probably when we're retired. But it's been the changes have been good.
Yeah, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you were to ask a police officer, to define what it is to be a police officer, they would most likely tell you things like, arresting people or, serving warrants or things like that. But if you were to ask an officer all the way down to the newest rookie to define what policing is today, there's going to be something in there about community policing. It's become such entwined in the thread of what it is that we do and the fabric of what we do. And that's a good segue, actually, into National Night Out, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
So one of the things that we try to do is find opportunities to have these partnerships with the community. And I guess, National Night Out has been around for over 40 years. So the first time that you started seeing that was in 1984 when we officially saw National Night Out. So what National Night Out is nationally, on the first Tuesday of every August, we have like an open house, for lack of a better term, at the police department, where we pull out all of our equipment and we have all of our people show up. We invite other vendors to come in, including our fire department, CHP. So we're inviting a lot of other people too. Just making a community event. And for us, it's down at Sunken Gardens. So it's right down in the middle of downtown. It's on a Tuesday night. And we invite everybody to come out and just interact with the police, but also to see all the other things, all the other attractions that we have. The CHP is going to be there, and they're going to have like a demo for an extraction. We're going to have the canines out there. They're going to have a demo. We have a bike rodeo, so we invite people to bring their own bicycles, for their little ones to bring them so they can learn bike safety.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool, And so there's a lot of different things that we try to put on to make it a fun time. Just at least come down, check it out, get a chance to meet some officers. I think that a lot of times people are a little intimidated by cops, And I think that a lot of that comes from, if you ask a police officer for directions, you pull over, but he's in the middle of doing something, right? And he kind of is like, yeah, I'll tell you later. And then if you have this impression of police officers, they're not very approachable. But in reality, we're moms and dads and brothers and sons and stuff, and we're just regular guys. And that's what we really want. We want people to learn that side of us, to come and relax with us and have a hot dog with us, By the way, there's going to be hot dogs there. So,
You coming, Randy?
Absolutely. Love hot dogs.
Yeah. So that's really the purpose of it, is just to come out and just hang out with us, and just ask us questions, come walk up to us. And just kind of get to know us,
So you said this started 40 years ago. This is the 40th year?
Yeah, and that's national wide. So not every city has been doing it for 40 years.
We
but
started. We brought the program to the city of Atascadero in 2018. It was something that I had heard about, and to Chief's point earlier, the community policing, the being more community oriented. I felt that was something that we could do, and we could give back to the community, and to everything that the chief just mentioned regarding what National Night is about is what it is. And I've seen it for the last 8-9 years that we've been doing it. So what it was designed to do, it does, and we get to see it, the fruits of it throughout. Once National Night is over, you'll get people that remember talking to you at National Night Out or Coffee with a Cop. All these community oriented policing things that we've brought to the city, to our department. You see the fruit of it.
You said the Coffee with the Cop. I know you guys have been doing that for a little bit, right? How has that been?
Yeah, it's again, I think one of the things I think we've learned is not have so many cops at a coffee shop. I think it's kind of intimidating to people, right? But we just had one in June at Jobella, and that was probably one of the better turnouts as far as interaction with the community, with cops, that I've been a part of. So, you get a lot of questions. Most of them are very good questions.
What are some of the ones that have stuck in your mind?
Yeah, one of the things I remember the chief said when he first came here in one of our staff meetings was, the biggest complaint I get as a police chief is traffic related questions and complaints. And I was like, oh, that didn't seem like that would be his number one complaint, or not complaint, but
concerns.
Concerns.
Yeah.
Concerns. Yeah. And so those are a lot of the questions we do get. It actually, I smile inside and laugh inside every time somebody comes to me with a traffic related question, because I think of what he said almost 2.5 years ago. Those are the most speeding in their neighborhoods. E-bikes are now the new big.
That is a
hot
big
topic.
concern, actually.
It is. So those kinds of questions.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily if you're invited to come to these. You don't have to come with questions. If you just want to, come and say hi, that's great. Matter of fact, those are our favorite ones. Because somebody just walks up and just says, "Hey, I just want to say hi," or introduce my family member to you. That's what's really fun. But yeah, getting to that traffic thing, that was the one thing when I first came here. I said, look, the number one complaint or number one concern that we get are traffic complaints, because those are the things that affect people on a daily basis. These high felonious types of crimes don't happen every day, so it doesn't affect us every day. When they do happen, it's a big deal, right? But what does affect us every day are these little things like the traffic. So we pay a lot of attention to that. And since I've been here, we've done a lot toward moving a lot of our resources around. Just kind of playing, just moving from one area within the department to another area so that we could develop another motors unit. So we have some dedicated individuals to help us with traffic. We've been able to form a special enforcement team, so things that we didn't have before, just by moving resources around, not getting new resources, but just kind of moving around, being a little creative, we can find out how to bring other services, to the city.
How is the downtown development with the parking? How has that been? I know there's a lot.
Yeah.
We call them concerns, but I'm pretty sure there are complaints.
Yeah.
During that period. But how has it been since then?
The interesting thing is that we still hear the same level of passion when it comes to the opinions that people hold on that project. But as far as statistically speaking and looking at what are we actually seeing as far as increased accidents or anything like that, we're not seeing it.
Because you don't have the speeding that
it
was
really
there
cuts,
before.
Yeah, it really cuts down on the speed, and so it's been for us as from the law enforcement side of it. It hasn't had an impact on us and our ability to serve. So it's been for us quite successful.
That's awesome. So let's get back to the National Night Out
Yeah.
again. So we're gonna have the fire department there, which they're under a rebuild too. I mean, a
Yep.
whole rebuild.
yeah.
So
Correct.
the station has been knocked down. The station as we know it,
Yeah.
you know, the brick station
Yep.
is gone, and now they're over there temporarily
Yeah.
there at the armory.
That's right. Yeah. You know, I'd be amiss if I didn't mention that. You know, this is all possible because of the measure, the D20 measure, they came out, and so that was something that the public was put to them to vote, and they voted on that because they knew that there was going to be a promise made that they were going to have a new facility for fire and police, and right now we have a brand new fire station being built. Fire Station 2 is being remodeled so it can accommodate more people, and like John said, here at the police department, we're expanding as well. You know, we're not leaving that building, but we're expanding. We're building an auxiliary building so we can move our dispatch from the inside of the existing building to the outside, which opens up more space on the inside, gives us more options and elbow room. We're taking, you know, back in 20 years ago, we used to have a jail in there, but for the last 20 years, it's been nothing but storage. You know, because we don't use it anymore. So we're taking that and we're turning it into a women's locker room. And when you have more lockers, you can accommodate more people. Because remember, when as a police officer, we don't stay in a building. You know, we come to work, we change into our uniforms, we get into a car, and our office is in the city. You know, so I don't necessarily need a bigger building to accommodate a larger police department. I need more lockers. You know, and so that's exactly what we're getting: more lockers, a little more office space. So it's going to give us room to grow over the next couple decades.
How many officers do you have on staff in Atascadero?
We have 34 sworn, and we have another 15 professional staff.
Wow.
Including like records and our evidence techs and our dispatch and things like that.
Do you guys have opportunity for like volunteering?
We do. So this is something that has been kind of a project of mine when I first got here. You know, COVID did a number on everybody when it came to volunteers. So we're trying to rebuild that, you know, and so we don't have it right now. It's something that's on my radar. It's something that I attempted to do about a year ago, and I just didn't get it up and running. So that is something I would like to get going. It's tough because you know, like I said, I take all the resources that I have and I try to use those resources and spread them as thin as I can to provide as much service as I can, which means that I don't have anybody that's available to run my explorers or cadets or my volunteers. But as soon as I figure out that chess piece, then I want to get all those back.
Are you thinking more like what the sheriff office has, like the auxiliary for the volunteer patrols?
Okay, yeah, so that would be your reserve officers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have that right now. And I mean, that would be probably a future program that I would look at. But right now, I'd really like to get my volunteer program up and running. Those are the actual, you know, like citizen volunteers that come in and help. Because there's a lot of talent out there, you know, that we don't tap into that we could pull in and help us in a lot of different ways.
And John, you're out in the car.
Yes.
You're out in the field, so to speak, right?
Correct.
How has the community helped you? How does the community help you in terms of what you need to do to enforce and keep the community safe?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, and that's one of the things with that National Night Out is that we want to the public and the people understand we need their help in solving crimes, being good reporting parties, being good witnesses. We can't do this on our own. We can't solve all these. I mean, sure, we can do some, right? But the community willingness to help us and give us the information that we need when we need it, calling us when, you know, if you see something, say something. That terminology, it's very important to us because we absolutely need the community's help to do our job effectively.
I can give you a specific example of that. You know, a couple of years ago, we had a really tragic event where a young boy was hit and killed by a vehicle that went off the road. And, you know, we had all of our police officers there, and then we started doing our investigation, started asking, you know, for the public's help. And there was this one individual who said, hey, I have, you know, a camera that may have picked up this small part of the road. It's probably not where the accident happened, but maybe it can help. And so they looked at it, and sure enough, they saw, you know, the vehicle in there, and that gave us a clue as to where the guy went. You know, and it's without that kind of, I mean, we would have had to do follow-up that would have taken us days to figure that out, that we figured out in,
The same
half
day,
hour.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the same day.
same day.
And that was because somebody, helped us out. So yeah, we have a job, we're going to do our job, but our job is to go and ask questions. We're always taking statements, so when he says that we rely on the public, we absolutely do, so.
How has the drone technology has that came into play with the Atascadero Police Department yet?
Not really. So what we just recently, like maybe a couple weeks ago, got approval from our city council to go ahead and purchase a drone. So we haven't actually purchased it yet. So now we have the policy set in place, our manual set in place. We've picked out what drone we want, so we're all ready to go. It's just now we just need to go ahead and make that purchase, get our people trained up, and we'll be ready to do that. There's a couple different ways that you can approach police work with a drone. There's drone as a first responder, and drone as a first responder is basically when a call comes out, and instead of sending an officer, you're sending a drone. Right at the same time, you're sending a drone. And that drone actually goes to that location. Now, this isn't what we're doing, though, by the way. I don't want to get all, but ours is going to be deployed on location. But the drone as a first responder is pretty neat because, it can basically get there and provide real-time intelligence for the officers as they're arriving. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to have our drones with our sergeants, and so the drone will be in the field, and then if we have a need, let's say we have somebody hiding, or let's say we have someone who's lost, and because these drones have thermal capabilities, and we have someone who went hiking, got lost,
Wow.
and we can send a drone out there, turn on a thermal camera, we can take, we can search for them that way. Think about, that versus putting a couple officers on a trail, hiking, calling out and trying to find somebody, versus just flying a drone over and cover a lot more ground, it can see a lot more. So these types of capabilities are what it's going to bring to us.
And those drones are able to send back coordinates and everything of the exact location.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you can actually identify whatever you're looking for immediate.
Oh yeah, I mean these things are amazing.
Real time.
Yeah, they have the capabilities of these drones. I mean they're small little things, but the amount of technology they put into them. It's got the thermal, it's got a 10 power scope on it, not scope, but 10 power magnification. But it's also got a rangefinder on it because a lot of times if you are up in the air and you're magnifying something by 10 power, it's hard to determine how far away it is. It'll tell you how far away it is. It knows, so the drone knows where it is, what its coordinates are. It knows what the range is to what it's looking at. It can tell you where that thing is. So that if you find somebody that you're searching for, it can tell you that this is where they are. So
Gosh, technology is just crazy.
The other good thing about the drone too is for us in the field as watch commanders, a lot of times when we have situations where we need air assets, we have to ask for the CHP to provide their helicopter, and that's 50-50 whether it's available, if it's in the area, because they do a lot of search and rescue missions all over outside of our county. So as a watch commander and as my patrol guys, like we want that air asset, we want it now, and a lot of times we can't get that. So having the drone in the back of my unit, having a drone operator, we can have that immediate, saves us a lot of time and maybe frustration because we can't get that air asset that we really wanted. So the drone's going to be very helpful to the patrol teams.
Sounds like more of a necessity, not
Yeah.
just to have one. It sounds like it would be, beneficial for the whole department to have several.
Yeah, we're just getting into that era where it's getting you're getting further and further behind if you don't have these types of technologies to help you in assisting with these types of investigations. But I think it's also really important to mention too is I think one of the biggest concerns that we had and one of the things that we take very seriously is people's privacy. So a lot of people are concerned. It's like you have this drone up there and it has camera capabilities and it can do surveillance and things of that nature. We take those things very seriously and we wrote it into our policies and our procedures and our practices. Exactly what it is that we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. We self-regulate. We don't do any type of random patrols with our drones. We don't do any surveillance with our drones. The only usage for a drone is going to be specific calls. For example, like John was mentioning, if we have a a suspect that's hiding in a backyard. That's a perfect time to send a drone instead of sending a person into a potentially dangerous situation. I'd rather have a piece of equipment back there than a person. And suspects that are barricaded, anything that's dangerous, it's nice to have that drone do it. And those are going to be the specific purposes that we use the drone for. We are not utilizing them for any type of patrol, like putting them out in the air, just going around
Just
searching.
go check out backyards.
That is not the
No.
purpose, and we can commit that to the public. That's not what we're going to do with them.
Chief, what does the future of law enforcement look like?
It's we've already kind of hit on it. We're trying to keep up with technology, and I think for the last 20 years that's what we've been doing. It's like when John and I first came on, we were being introduced to audio recorders, and
Yeah.
and now
Wow.
and now everybody's got body worn cameras, and if you don't have that, there's an expectation that you do, and people want to know why you don't have body-worn cameras. So it's like it's gone from something that was nice to have to an expectation, and trying to keep up with that is difficult because, quite honestly, everything that we do, the technology requires backup and IT support and all these different things that we didn't need before. For example, with the drone, now we're for every 1 hour that we fly that thing, I need like 50 gigabytes of storage, and it's like by the time I fly that thing for a year, and I have my own retention requirements, I have to keep video for a certain period of time. How am I going to store all that stuff? And with the cost of server
that's a
storage
good
and stuff,
point.
Yeah.
so it's not as simple as just buying a piece of technology and just implementing it. It's like there's a lot of things that go into it and a lot of moving parts, and that's what becomes really challenging for policing nowadays. That it's not what we are used to, where we just somebody needs help, that's fine, I'll go help them, and then at the end of the day we're good to go. It's like trying to figure out how we're going to do that and how we're going to do our investigations and what support do we need in place to make that possible. And those are the challenges that we're facing now as we're looking forward.
So that's kind of one of my questions as far as like like training and continuing education for
Yeah.
you guys. I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys do that on a regular basis, but now as AI technology, this just technology world that like you were saying, you started 20 years ago, things were a lot different. Voice recorder, now
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
drones and it's AI and it's all these such a higher level of technology and mind capacity needed.
Yeah.
So is that how you guys continuously train?
Well, that's exactly it. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's like we have training every day. That's before shift. That's a good 20 minutes, half an hour that we can talk about new laws that came out or just briefing. Just to make sure people are staying on top of things. But to find the time to actually sit down and get the training that you need on the specific software programs that we're putting out, and then expecting those individuals to remember every single one of these things is part of that complex problem that we're talking about. Not only that, but there's a lot of mandated training that has to happen too. That we have to be trained in all these different areas. And finding time to make that happen is a juggling act. So, but it's definitely one of the challenges that we have.
John, I also want to
Yeah.
hit on you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You hit on the e-bikes,
Yeah.
and obviously that is becoming more and more of an issue. Kids, and and I think there was a new law that got implemented July 1st, I believe, for e-bikes.
With
For kids and riding and speeds and stuff like that. What are some of the things that the parents that maybe don't know about the laws with e-bikes should know?
Yeah, the main thing is, they have, and I'm going to self-admit I'm not super great with these things yet, but there's 3 classes of e-bikes: class 1, class 2, class 3. Class 3 are like the ones that are not pedal assisted, and that I think the speed, they can go above 28 miles an hour, and those are off-road only vehicles. You cannot have those on the street. You cannot have them in a bike lane, ride them in a bike lane. They just cannot be on the street.
Yeah.
If we are, those are the ones we really get the most calls on. What are they? The Sarans.
Like the little motorcycle
Yeah.
bike looking
Yeah.
things.
Those are completely illegal to be on a public roadway.
Yeah, and I think really when we talk about the confusion that there is between the e-bikes and the e-motorcycles, and I think that what it is that people really don't understand is that when we talk about we say e-bike, it covers in our minds it covers all the things that we're seeing on the streets right now, but they're completely different. So like John was saying, there's 3 classes of e-bikes. And the e-bikes are literally a bicycle that has electric assist. And as he was pointing to, is like, they have to have pedal assist. They can have a throttle, but it has to have pedal assist also. And then as soon as something has a capability going over 28 miles an hour, whether it has pedal assist or not, all of a sudden it's an e-motorcycle, which now it just takes you into a whole different class of regulation. In other words, it's basically a dirt bike. You're taking a Honda, 450, and you're putting it on the street and riding it around. It's the same thing according to California state law. And I think that's what really confuses people. Is like they buy their kid this bike, and it's technically an e-dirt bike or an e-motorcycle, and they say, well, I don't get it. It's an electric bike. But it's by the law's definition of what an e-bicycle is, it's not. And the law's eye, it's basically a dirt bike that you're allowing your kid to go and ride on the street. It's not registered. It goes way faster than what is allowed by law. There are a lot of it's quiet. One of the things that we always complained about was back in the day when kids would ride their dirt bikes on the street was like you could hear them and it was a nuisance. But now you can't hear them, and now it's a nuisance because you can't hear them because they're coming up behind you.
Right.
And that's one of the dangers of them too. So if I were to say one thing about the e-bikes and e-motorcycles is that I would ask people to educate themselves on what an e-bike is. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and make sure I put something on my Facebook page to classify exactly what the 3 classes of an e-bike is. Anything outside of that, then it's an e-motorcycle. And you have to get it registered with the DMV. And some of these are not going to be able to be registered. It's like taking a dirt bike, a combustion engine dirt bike, and trying to get it registered for street. It has to be street legal, in order for you to take it to the DMV and get it registered. And I think really that's what the biggest concern is, or not the biggest confusion is. And if people could just, in their minds, think of them as a dirt bike, I think that they would have a bigger or a better understanding of what our concern is. It's like basically we have guys rolling around on, doing wheelies in the middle of the road on a dirt bike. It's like, all right.
Common sense should play a factor.
Common sense would be great. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It'd be helpful.
Yeah. One of my favorite things in the world to do is ride dirt bikes. You know what I mean? I got dirt bikes for my kid. I've rode dirt bikes my entire life. I have one at home. It's my passion. But I know that I can't bring my dirt bike down in the middle of the street in Atascadero and start doing wheelies. It's just I know I can't do that. I'm not allowed to. I got to find a better place to do it.
Probably look bad for you, Chief.
It probably is. It'd be fun. It'd be pretty cool if I could pull it off, though.
You might get on some followers.
Yeah, I might get followers. Yeah, yeah. But like you said, common sense needs to dictate. We can't take our dirt bikes out and ride it on the street. Just everybody knows that. And I think that if they could understand that these e-dirt bikes are going to be considered the same thing. They're considered a dirt bike. So I'll put something on my Facebook so I can at least so people can go to the Atascadero Police Department Facebook and check out and see what those 3 classes of bicycles are. So that
we have done some of those types of educational information on our Facebook page. Again, with today's technology, common sense, educate yourself. Know what you're buying. Know if it's legal before you put your kid on it. Because now, we will tow it, and the law that came out, vehicle code came out, that now we can cite the parents as well for allowing their kid to ride dirt bike.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, but that's all there. You educate yourself.
That's awesome. That was all great information, guys. So I appreciate it. We got National Night Out coming up Tuesday.
Yep.
Tuesday,
right?
Yeah, the 4th.
What time does that start?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the Sunken
Sunken
Gardens.
Gardens, yeah.
From 5 to 7.
And so there'll be a bunch of, you'll have first responders, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As well,
CHP
fire department.
And the fire department, some ambulances out there. But then you're going to have a lot of different businesses that are going to come out. Like I was saying, Grocery Outlet is going to be there, and they've been kind enough to say they'd supply some hot dogs.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And with the Grocery Outlet, I love to give them a big shout out because they've been with us since year 1, and they donate the hot dogs and the chips and water. So they're a big donation and help us make this successful as well.
Well, Atascadero Grocery Outlet, from the previous owners to the
Yep.
new owners have always been, law enforcement, first
Oh,
responder.
yeah.
I mean, huge supporters.
Yep.
That's actually the only place I shop. I love the Grocery Outlet.
Yeah.
Go there for one thing, walk out with a cart full of stuff.
It's like Costco, right?
Right.
But a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper, and it's closer. It's right
Yeah.
here.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
you find the stuff that you never.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? I'm just gonna buy it because it's $4 for $1.
Yeah.
My wife loves that part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So National Night Out Tuesday, Sunken Gardens. Going to be a bunch of activities for the kids.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have the canines out there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a lot of questions and
Love it, yeah.
commenting and
Yes.
just kind of mingling with the community.
Yeah,
The
that's
community
exactly
get
it.
together and know your neighbor type thing.
Yeah. And we'll have we do a raffle. We do raffles every year as well. So there's some cool little. I was gonna see if maybe you want to give me some swag to
Absolutely.
raffle off.
You bet. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been really fun for me to see the evolution of how this has grown. The turnouts year to year get bigger and bigger, which means the community that's community members at our event, and that interaction that we get to have with them that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's put on the guys who, behind the scenes that are putting this whole thing together. I have to give them a lot of props.
Yeah.
Sergeant Taylor here, Crystal back at the station, Shandy, and
Destiny.
Destiny. There's just so many of them that these are just individuals who work at the department who decided, hey, I want to volunteer my time to put this on,
Yeah.
and that is so big thanks to all the
Yeah.
people at the department who make this possible.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, once again, I appreciate your guys' service and for what you guys do in the community, and it's awesome to have you guys on. This is
you.
an open platform, so Chief, Sergeant, you want to come on anytime, man.
All right.
And chat all things Atascadero or
Appreciate
anything
it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
appreciate it.
there's that offers reciprocated to you too. If you want something, if you hear something, you want us to come on your show, we're here for you too. So
Yes,
Awesome.
let us know.
we love to come out and be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. And I'm definitely going to see you Tuesday night
Awesome.
at National Night Out for those hot dogs from the grocery outlet.
Awesome.
And come down and check out. I love watching the canines, and
Yeah.
it's just mesmerizing.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
These
it's
dogs
amazing.
are just so amazing, and
Yeah.
what they're trained to do and their capabilities is by far like no other.
It is
So,
very cool.
Once again, appreciate you guys' time for coming in and
for
your
having
guys'
us,
service
Randy.
to our community.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us, Randy.
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
It's our pleasure.
Well, there you have it, guys. National Night Out coming up Tuesday in Atascadero at the Sunken Gardens. You don't want to miss this from 5 to 7. There's going to be all kinds of activities, so bring the kids, bring your appetite. We got hot dogs down there from the grocery outlet, and it's going to be a fun time for the community to come together. But as always, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway. Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, 1776 Roofing and Gutters, Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Angela Hicks Import Photography, Airflow Filter Services, Atascadero Chamber, and Tuckleton Heating and Air. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you at National Night Out.
When you look at your concrete, do you see what it is or what it could be? This is Matt Gifford at MGP Coatings. We don't just cover concrete, we reimagine it. Stronger, cleaner, brighter, and built to last. From garages to commercial spaces, we turn ordinary slabs into stunning, durable surfaces that make every day feel brand new. Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check out our new website, mgpcoatings.solutions, or check any of our social medias. MGP Coatings, Concrete Reimagined.
It's time to play, come stay at the Hideaway, Wine Travelers Hideaway. In wine country you'll stay at the Wine Travelers Hideaway. Book today, enjoy your stay at the Wine Travelers Hideaway.
My name is Jennifer Borhone Wescombe.
And I'm Haley Wescombe from Borhone Auto Center. Borhone Auto Center is a family-owned and operated GMC dealership. We are your go-to dealership for quality vehicles. With a vast inventory and personalized service, we are here to make your purchase seamless.
Whether it's a luxurious Yukon or a rugged Sierra, we have the perfect ride for you. Come see us today to experience the Borjon family difference. We are located on the corner of Highway 46 East and Golden Hill Road in Paso Robles.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We are all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
Hey, flow filter service serving the North County. For all your automotive needs there. Filters, oil filters, batteries, and more. Airflow is the store, located at 1140 Ramada Drive in Paso Robles. If you pass the railroad tracks, you've gone too far.
Your home is your castle. It keeps you safe when the weather's rough. But if you're not taking care of your roof, things could get a little wild. 1776 Roofing with RoofMax will fix up the rough spots, treat the shingles, and give it years more life at a fraction of what a new roof costs. At TLC, your roof needs now. Call 805-900-1776.
When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Custom apparel store, 805 Customs, 805 Customs, 805 Customs, where freedom never goes out of style.
Looking to grow your business strong, the Atascadero Chamber is where you belong. Networking, events, and community pride, helping local businesses thrive side by side.